Men across the world have always faced the same exact challenge: how to stay strong, vital, and sexually powerful as they age. And from the deserts of Arabia to the mountains of China to the fields of Europe, the various countries and communities in Africa and in all over the world, the answer? For centuries, it wasn't found in pills or quick fixes. It was actually found in practice, physical exercises, in ritual and wisdom passed down through generations. Now, I'm Dr. Rachel Ross, physician and sexologist, and today we explore how you can integrate these same practices into your own life and set the foundation for erectile power, not just erectile function, and a powerful performance, which is what this is all about, right? We will explore ancient traditions and why these practices work so well. And by the end of this video, you will know these practices, have a step-by-step process to integrate some of them into your own routines, and you'll have yet another tool to get off the meds and take an all-natural, root cause approach to erectile function. Let's go. Now, we call this one the warrior secret. In ancient Middle Eastern cultures, young men practiced jelqing, which is a rhythmic, deliberate movement to strengthen their manhood. And in ancient Middle Eastern tradition, young men were often taught the art of jelqing by their elders as a rite of passage into manhood. And it was believed that by regularly practicing this technique, firmly milking the penis in a slow, deliberate motion, they could improve virility, stamina, and size over time. And one old tale from Levant tells of desert warriors who would jelq before long journeys, claiming it gave them confidence and ensured fertility once they returned home. And they passed these traditions down through generations. Jelqing was a secret manhood ritual rooted in discipline and pride. And let's talk science and how this helps. Well, it improves blood vessel capacity. It may promote micro tears and tissue remodeling for stronger, fuller erections over time. In plain terms, it's like stretching a muscle. Over time, it grows stronger and more flexible, right? Now, in order to do this at home, I want you to make sure that you warm up and get semi-erect, not fully hard, and use kind of light to firm pressure. Think nourishing, not forcing, just nourishing. And apply a little bit of natural lubricant and apply a thumb and forefinger, and you're gently going to milk from the base outwards, stopping before the tip. And you're going to perform 5 to 10 minutes a day, without pain. And what you're going to notice are some changes. Now, today we are diving deep into these ancient global traditions, these practices to stay stiff and fertile, because there's so much that we can learn together, and you can integrate these same practices into your traditions if you haven't already. And then what I want you to do is calculate your erection age. This will let you know if you are on a pathway to a lifetime of sexual stamina or headed towards a tumble or a fumble. So head over to eage.me to get your erection age calculated. Then head back here, let me know what you got, because every week is hard week, and I want to help over 1 million men get hard. Okay. So far we've touched on China and the Middle East. Next, I want to travel all the way to India, where this exercise is known to awaken the heart and the sexual energy. Now, Indian yogis rose towards the sun in this position to awaken heart and sexual energy on a daily basis. And in ancient India, yogis taught this, and I'm not even going to butcher the name, but I'll put it on the screen. This is the reverse plank, and it's a way to awaken the east side of your body, the front, where the heart and the lungs and the sexual energy flow. Now, legend says that sages practicing by the riverbanks would lift their naked bodies towards the rising sun, believing that the pose unlocked courage and heart power and sensual strength. And it wasn't just exercise, it was a way of building a bridge between earth and the spirit. To master this exercise, I'll put the name up because I don't want to say it and butcher it and you'll be after me, was to enrich and bring that fire. Lift the hips high, make a straight line from the head to the heels. And how does this help? Well, it opens the chest and the hips and the pelvis area. It strengthens the back, the glutes, which are the core. All it takes is sitting on the floor, extending those legs, placing the hands behind the hips, fingers facing the feet and pressing those hands and feet, lifting those hips and chest high. Hold it for 20 to 30 seconds and repeat it 3 times. You can use your chair if you can't get down on the floor. All right. Next, I talk about this one a lot. Shaolin monks perfected the horse stance, building endurance and virility. In the ancient training halls of Shaolin temples, young monks would actually spend hours rooted in this horse stance, legs wide, thighs burning, posture unshakable. And the elders believed that if a man could hold his ground like a mountain, he could conquer any enemy, any temptation, even unruly forces from within. Now, stories say that warriors who had perfected the horse stance not only became unbeatable in battle, but also developed unbreakable sexual vitality and stamina, seen as the marks of true mastery, right? So you're going to stand with your legs wide. You're going to squat low like you're riding a horse, and you're going to hold that position. Now, of course, you're wondering, how does this help? But it strengthens the hips, the thighs, the pelvic floor. It allows those testicles to dangle. It can potentially boost testosterone and improve blood flow. It's a manhood squat, driving blood, power, and hormones up, 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 because that's what we want. So start 30 seconds, build up to 3 minutes. Next, we call the King's Secret of Connection. Now, in the lush lands near Lake Victoria, women passed down the art of kunyaza, a sacred sexual tradition from East Africa designed to ensure a woman's ultimate pleasure. Elders taught it through rhythmic, deliberate movements. And what it is kind of tapping around the vulva. A man could awaken deep reservoirs of connection, trust, and ecstasy between both him and his queen. A king once learned kunyaza from his wise queen after returning from a long journey. Now, I can only guess who taught her, but that's a different story. And from then on, his kingdom flourished because he had mastered the art of satisfying the heart through the body. Now, this practice will make you a more skilled lover, but also bring the floodgates to her and bring stiff lumber to you. You can't beat that. And I actually did a complete video that you can watch here on that practice. The next ritual was practiced in African countries and India. Now, these are deep squats. These deep squats were daily life in these areas, keeping men strong, flexible, and vital. The deep squat wasn't just exercise, it was life. Elders squatted to cook, to weave, to converse, and for women, even giving birth. Now, believing that this posture helps keep hips open, spine strong, and sexual energy flowing freely for both man and women. Hunters and farmers squatted for hours each day, trusting that this position, this natural position, builds strength from the ground up, physically, spiritually, sexually. And it was said that a man's virility could be measured by how long and effortlessly he could root himself to the earth. That deep squat. So squat deep, heels down, chest lifted. So you're thinking, Doc, how's this helping? Well, it opens the pelvis, improves circulation. It builds the glutes, builds the hamstrings, and the foundation of sexual performance, the muscles, the pelvic floor, stretching it. So in plain terms, strong legs, strong erections. Hold it for 30 to 40 seconds. Repeat it a few times a day. Do your best. Now, this next one is called testicle breathing, or the breath of vitality. And in the hidden chambers of Taoist temples, the masters taught testicle breathing. Now, this was an art form where men would guide their breath and energy into reproductive organs to preserve and enhance the life force. So basically what they were doing is breathing and recycling this energy in order to invigorate their vitality, increase sexual prowess, and slow the aging process by breathing. Yes, but they were breathing awareness into the testicles. They believed that they could gather raw creative power and circulate it throughout the body, particularly turning it to the testicles. And they actually used it to quench desire and to bring strength. Now, only the disciplined students were entrusted with these secrets, and the Taoists practiced testicle breathing to circulate life, energy, and preserve youth. And all this is kind of sitting relaxed. And then you imagine yourself breathing energy deeply into your groin and into your testicles. You actually visualize it. You visualize it happening, and it boosts blood flow. It's thought to increase testosterone, lower anxiety, boost nitric oxide. So in plain terms, listen, where attention goes, energy flows and blood follows, right? So practice it at home. Sit comfortably. Integrate this into your meditation. Breathe deeply and into the lower belly and visualize that energy warming and nourishing the testicles. 5 minutes a day with mindfulness. Now, we can't leave this conversation without talking about ancient Egyptian practices. Now, we've already talked about Africa, but this part is Egypt. In the temples of Egypt, warriors and priests performed these dynamic squats, and these were different. These blended strength, flexibility, and awakening of sexual energy. And the deep squats rooted them to the earth, while these powerful arm stretches summoned vitality upward through the spine. Hieroglyphs show men in low, deep squats transitioning into powerful upright postures, sometimes holding weights like large stones or symbolic objects, likely to strengthen that lower body and invigorate the pelvic area, and prepare the body for endurance, battle, fertility rituals. All of this was so important. So deep squats and dynamic spinal movements, along with those arms reaching up, increase pelvic circulation. They can boost nitric oxide production from shearing forces. They can improve hormonal health and balance and enhance flexibility, all which are vital for your sexual function and stamina in your performance. They believe that keeping that lower body strong and that pelvic energy flowing was essential, not just for battle, but for fertility, endurance, and even really spiritual power. The god Men, protector of virility, stood as a reminder. True strength was measured not only by muscle, but by life force, if you know what I mean. So these ancient practices, focusing on pelvic energy, mirror today's understanding of pelvic floor strength and exercise and movement and neurovascular health. And in ancient Egypt, ritualized squats and stretches built physical and sexual strength. Now, if you have been sitting at your desk all winter long, don't try these today. You have to gradually work up to these things. Practice at home. Start in a deep squat and then rise into standing while you're raising those arms upward with a deep inhale. Exhale and sink back into the squat. Now, this is going to be very difficult unless you've been strengthening your core. But then you repeat these 10 to 5 cycles to awaken that pelvic and spiritual energy. You become a beast, a godlike being. Okay? Now, of course, we got to mention Europe. You know, in Europe, men practice cold river bathing, stone lifting, and physical trials to enhance masculine power. So practice some of these at home. Try cold showers, 30 to 60 seconds, boost mitochondrial energy, help re-engage that energy. Engage in lifting exercises like squats, deadlifts, and build resilience through physical and mental challenges. Now, this is global wisdom for the modern man. So across deserts, temples, forests, and rivers, our ancestors knew vitality isn't luck, it's earned through discipline, honor, and connection. Today, science confirms what tradition has always known. We can and should learn from each other together. And when we honor these ancient practices and the people who practice them, we don't just reclaim our physical strength, we unite our histories, our cultures, and our future. Now it's on you to come up with your own powerful traditions of vitality and strength and power and pass that down to your children. Listen, it's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So go to eage.me, calculate your erection age right now so you can start this quest to age in reverse. Your body tells a story. Make sure it's one that's worth telling, okay? I'm Dr. Rachel. I love you, and boom, I'm out.